Think of your favorite character. You're not moved by the mystical, the magical, or the setting, but by the character's morality, their adept ability to make you understand, empathize, and frankly move beyond the scope of the screen. They are every story's lifeblood, the beautiful souls that bind its themes together into a fantastic tapestry. And there's nothing more rewarding than seeing how they blossom over the course of their respective journeys. Equally rewarding is revisiting some of my favorite series, whose core group I'm helplessly fascinated with, to the point that no matter how hard I've tried to keep it shut, I can't seem to keep that mental door closed.
Mayaka-san. Ji-chan!
Endlessly vibrant and endearing, its relentless positive energy and dynamic visual poetry all come together to create a feeling that is suffocating. You'd be forgiven for thinking I'm largely referring to Chitande here, whose unabashed positivity whisks her friends away on the adventures they wish to go on. She is the initial catalyst, the outside force that really pushes the story along. At the center of it all, he travels the furthest on his high school journey to embrace the taste of roses. For as much as he inches further into a sea of pink, it takes him a while to don a swimsuit and really dive in. Indecisive, unsure, doubtful. He can't seem to decide on whether he wants to remain gray or venture into something more, something greater than his current self. It's easy to assume a lot about him. He plants his own ideas of who he thinks he is into your perception. But really, Oreki's initial dilemma can be boiled down to this one line of conversation. He's attempting to grow into the kind of person he finds himself helplessly entranced by, someone who doesn't sit by the wayside. And we see this. His sister may have asked him to join the classic literature club, but it's not as if a gun was held to his head. He chose to join because he wanted to. Chitande may have asked him to help uncover the mystery behind her uncle, but they've only just become friends recently. Yet he chooses to assuage her fears despite this lack of familiarity. Because his motto is flimsy, tenuously held together by the merest of strands. His conservation policy could easily be chalked up to laziness. Sure. Deep down, it's an excuse. He wants to push beyond that and does so, already starting to unravel the fibers that bind his tactics together. Sekitani Jun surely led a rose-colored life, the very same Oreki is pushing for to the fullest, but it cost him heavily. Pink, so to speak, may be preferable, but that inclusion of color will undoubtedly have greater peaks and troughs. The sacrifices that one will make in search of this path may come at a price. Yet, his resolve remains resolute. Oreki repeatedly denies any amount of talent that he possesses, no matter how many times he's been told by his peers. But he's been letting these changes seep in slowly but surely, to the point that when he's told again, he takes it on board more readily. Much as he denied it before, he always put his skills to good use. He could have always rejected anyone's requests for assistance. The truth of the matter is, concealed earnestness. Buoyed by finally acknowledging his own prowess more properly, he solves the case with newfound enthusiasm, only to miss the emotional context that Hongo had left embedded within her mystery. Eagerness is valuable and wonderful to see from Oreki, but he leaves his grayness to the wayside in search of more of these newfound feelings, this increasingly enticing, beautiful hue. Ultimately, he succumbs to the same pitfall as Sekitani Jun before him. The highs may be higher, but the lows.
期待以上だよ、大太郎。
Oreki is a resilient person, unwavering in his desire to pursue this ever rosier approach to life. And that means when the next mystery reveals itself amidst the cozy atmosphere of the school festival, he's not about to let this conundrum go unanswered. At this point, Areki is continuing to expand more and more energy, all in spite of himself. If it was unconvincing before...
Satoshi!
Well, it's been outright shattered at this point. Unbeknownst to him, Areki has broken the shackles he'd imposed upon himself from the outset, and his decisions are illuminating. Striving to continually find that balance of color, he finally has someone to confront, and it's the culprit. Expectations can take their toll. It can be difficult to fully surmise the effects they can have on you until it all boils over. But he's starting to show a great deal of awareness in the face of the expectations placed upon him, however tacitly they may be implanted. In the face of his previous defeat, he also demonstrates newfound awareness, factoring in the emotional context of Jumanji into his deductions, even though he couldn't decipher those intentions. However, Satoshi stews quietly in the background, jealousy and resentment bubbling up from witnessing Hotaro's continual growth. The pursuit for that tantalizing rose is a worthy endeavor, but that life will manifest differently depending on the person. Not all searches are created equal, and sometimes the lows you meet in that search won't align with the images you had in mind.
アレキさんに紹介したかったんです。
Ever since he first stepped in that club room, Areki's already keen perception of others grew emboldened. He's more outwardly demonstrating his true character through the decisions he makes in every single situation presented to him. Because that's exactly what character is. It's what people do, not what they say. Desiring understanding and shocking those around him. Better understanding and finding himself. Connecting despite himself. Outwardly manifesting his emotions more accurately. He's more readily acknowledged his own talents, and he's actively incorporating the emotional context behind any situation into his analyses. You could say he's grown as a person, and you'd be entirely correct, but the manifestation of that progress is merely that he's more outwardly displaying the character he's always been through the choices he's made. They say people never change, but that's bullshit. They do. Yet, funnily enough, Areki is the same guy he's always been. We're just finally seeing it for the first time. From the outset of this story, he simply had a misconception about his own character, as he has continually acted and reacted in a way that ran contrary to his words. And that is his true character as revealed by those actions. He simply needed nudges in that direction. He wanted to find it. His policy never had any legs to stand on. Areki is one of my favorite characters. Rewatching Hyoka for the third time, taking copious notes along the way, devising one idea for this video, then walking away from it after a lot of work. It all made me realize at the end of the day that Areki is important to me. Sure, this exercise has been a great refresher in what it means to write a compelling, earnest character, but it was a tough lesson for me. What did my actions say about me despite what I was saying? What was my true character? Truth be told, much as I kept saying I wanted to make more videos, to share my ideas and my love for all the things I hold dear, I continually acted in a way that ran against that. For a time, I'd given up. Areki never did though, and that's why he's so important to me. In the face of huge uncertainty, he always acted in a way that got him closer to where he wanted to be. I desperately needed that reminder, and I'm so grateful that I got it. So stay true to your own character, even when times are tough, even when you're unsure of the path forward. Trust me, you'll be all the better for it.